Slininger, birth doula, birth coach. You could call this part of my vulnerability, transparency, honesty series because I am about to dive into something that I'm going to be very honest and very forward with you about. I'm going to need to be careful what information I give you because confidentiality is of the most importance to me. But I want to take some time and talk to you about my first birth client as a doula. I want to kind of give you a feel of what that experience was like for me. I'm not going to share anything on their end because that's not my story to tell. But I will share with you my experience with the whole thing and talk about some things I've learned and things of that nature. So if you're interested in something like that, stick around. Smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, and ring that notification bell so you always know when things are coming up. There's going to be more vulnerability, transparency videos coming up because what I wanted to say I could not say in 10 minutes. So I figure, well, let's turn it into a series. That sounds fun. So we're going to do that. Now, my first client. I had been marketing for quite some time and I was feeling discouraged and frustrated, and someone said, well, let's try posting in some Facebook groups. And let me tell you, I was scared to death the day I did that. I am not going to lie to you. I knew that that was going to be something that would be possibly successful. I was also aware it might not be, but like I was really nervous, y'all, and I was trying to like mentally prepare myself the entire time I'm creating the post and posting it and all that. I gotta tell you, that was a frightening move for me. I will not lie. And at first nothing really happened, but then like I mean, it was like barely 30 minutes later, I see a post from someone and you know, they're talking about their interest in it and stuff like that. And I said, okay, so can we set up a meeting, you know? And we set up our first meeting, and that meeting was absolutely awesome. I knew right away that I would work very well with this person. I'm a people person, so I work really good with just about anybody. But I knew that I would do well. I knew that they were comfortable with me. You know, it was a good situation. Because it's a good idea for you to interview multiple doulas. So that way if you're not comfortable with one, you know that you've got some others that you can talk to and, you know, pick the one that works the best for you. So, but we both knew that this was going to be a good experience. Very straightforward, very basic. You know, it went very well. I felt like I kind of kept her too long, but it worked out well. It was then I learned that like planning and making sure that timing is good, making sure, especially your first meeting, to keep it like 1 hour, you know, is like the best. We were like 1 hour and 15 minutes, I think, or maybe right at 1 hour. I really can't remember. So the second meeting rolls around. I hated myself. You might wonder why I'm saying that. Well, I had no idea how to do this meeting. I knew it was going to be my last meeting with her. And so I was like scrambling around in my head, trying to figure out what I needed to do to make sure that we were both prepared. You know, that I knew how to help her, because that's what the meetings are for, you know, for you to get to know us and for us to get the best feel of what you like, what you don't like, you know, things like that. So I was scrambling around in my head, second time knowing this person, trying to figure out like how to help her, knowing that my third time seeing her would be when we're working together. And that was actually a little intimidating for me. In my mind, I'm thinking like, yeah, I wish I could have done 3 meetings, but it doesn't always work out that way. And that's okay. That never frustrates me. That never bothers me or anything like that. I don't mind taking someone last minute. Actually, most of my clients have been last minute. So I had one that was right on target, but then something came up and it didn't really work out, and that's okay. That happens too. You know, I've learned in this job, and it's true for the labor and delivery, but it's also true even just when you're working with people. Expect the unexpected. Let me tell you, I have encountered some situations that I'm like, what? You know, so The second meeting, you probably wonder, okay, why in the world did she say she hates herself? I had no idea what I needed to do that meeting. I knew there were a lot of things I could and should do, but I wasn't quite sure what was the most important. And when I look back on it, I really wish I had spent more time talking with her about what I knew the most about. And that was about, perceptions of pain and how to cope with pain, things that you can do to help yourself through pain, things like that. I kind of got tripped up on all the special fancy comfort measures I was learning, tried to focus too much on that, which actually did not go the way I liked. When I was working with her, I did not feel the most confident trying to do comfort measures and see what she liked and all that. And even she's like, well, some of this I'm not sure I'm going to know until a big day. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I get that. That's cool. But we did try some stuff, and one thing she told me, oh, I noticed this there, and I'm like, okay, so they're that works at least, So that was kind of funny. But I just felt like I didn't know what I was doing, and I really do wish I'd spent more time talking with her about pain, talking with her about things. There's some tricks, and that's another video within itself. One thing I will say up front is I know that every person's different. We all cope differently. And you don't always know what labor will bring. I understand that. I've had people say, oh, well, you make it what it is and all this mess and that it's so copable. And not necessarily. Everybody has their own experience. I'm sorry. I could go on a rant about this. Anyway. Yes, it can be more painful if you panic and things like that. But, everybody copes with things so differently. And, I do believe, though, that education can help you prepare the most. But anyway, that's another video within itself. Here I go again. So that big day came, and I woke up that morning. I knew, and I won't explain why, but I knew where to go in and all that stuff. So I got up that morning. I actually managed to get up too early. I fixed myself too big a breakfast, actually my husband fixed it for me, and I told him, I said, my next one, you are not going to overload me like that. It was probably a lot of excitement too, because something kind of happened to me at the end. Now, thankfully, I was able to manage it. It wasn't a terrible situation, but something did happen to me, and I was a little embarrassed, but not embarrassed, but I was a little oh my word, I hope this doesn't happen every birth, but my mentor reassured me. She said, every birth is so different. You don't know what to expect walking into that room. And that is so true. You really don't. Because when I first got there, from what she told me, I thought I was going to be there for, hours. I thought, oh, I won't be home until, 8, 9 o'clock tonight, probably, if then, So I'm kind of mentally trying to prepare myself for that, okay? And this is where it gets really fun. We're sitting there an hour. She's really wanting some peace and quiet, so I'm trying my very hardest to let her have that. I made sure she's comfortable, things like that. And so I'm making sure that she has that quiet space. People kept talking, and I debated with myself whether to really say anything or not, because I knew that she just needed that quiet place. I could tell. I had even offered to help her with something, and at first she's kind of no, let's not do that right now. Boy, did that change later, and that was awesome. So I did that, and this video could possibly have a part 2, just so you know, because I'm not quite done, and my timer's about to go out, and I'm like, oh man, so, but anyway, I was sitting there, and everybody was talking about how they were hungry and wanted to get something to eat, and so I stepped in. I said, guys, this is part of my role. When you need something, I can actually stay with her and help her through whatever she might need or whatever. And they got really happy. They got really excited. And in my next video, I will tell you a lot more about what happened. It was a very unique experience that happened next. And it warms my heart even looking at this to this day. It was really the coolest thing. I very briefly mentioned it to my husband, and he was like, whoa. I'm like, yeah, it was so cool and so unexpected. So to be continued in the next video. Something very special happens, and I will get to that. So If you're watching this for the first time, feel free to leave a guess in the comments, and you won't know if you're right until you see the second video, but I'm curious what your thoughts are. Again, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and ring that bell.